Well, joining us now is oil and gas expert Brian Amonu. His company, Gas Analytics and Solutions, is partnering with petroleum marketers and the non-government for a mass rollout of compressed natural gas.
Thank you for joining us, Brian. Thank you for joining us. Now,
thank you. Thank you for having me.
This looks so exciting. I couldn't wait to ask you this very first question. What have you been waiting for? Why haven't we taken advantage of this alternative before now?
Right. So, some of the issues that we've identified with regards to project developers providing solutions to address the myriad of issues we have in this country is most of the projects are not scaled to address the size of the problem we have in Nigeria, right? So, and in the past, notwithstanding that CNG has been operating successfully in Nigeria in Edo State since 2007, the adoption rate has been abysmal. We think that is primarily because efforts in the past have taken the approach that we have coined to be development before planning instead of planning before development, right? Now, the removal of fuel subsidy has a far-reaching impact that goes beyond just increasing the cost of transportation. If you were to type today in Google, number of petrol generators in Nigeria, figures that will come up is 40% of Nigerian households run on petrol generators, about 50 million households, so 40% of that, a little bit over 20 million, right? SMEs, the largest employer of labor in this country, almost all of them run on generators. So we're talking between 60 million to 100 million generators powering our homes, powering our businesses. So with the removal of fuel subsidy, we don't just have a situation where the cost of transportation has gone up. We have a situation where the cost of operating a business for the largest employer of labor, the SMEs, has gone through the roof. So the solution has to address not just the issue of high cost of transportation, the solution also has to address the issue of access to electricity, right? So for us, we have our Sustainable Energy Access Project, which is being supported very strongly by the African Development Bank. And that has to do with, we have a partnership with NNPC Gas and Power Investment Company to deliver 300 megawatts to electricity distribution franchises in each state, targeting investment opportunities in agriculture, in solid mineral, manufacturing that require power. And on CNG, the reason we chose Amonu, Amonu has a network of over 30,000 filling stations, both active and inactive, right? Amonu is the only platform that can deliver CNG to every nook and cranny of the country.
Fantastic.
If you also take into consideration that...
Great point. I mean, you took it right out of my mouth, because I was going to ask you, Brian, about the question of availability. I mean, and of course, gas conversion points, and you're just addressing that now. Let's talk about the cost of this conversion. Do you foresee a situation where the cost of conversion will come down? Because 400,000 naira is quite prohibitive, if you ask me. I mean, you just told us that in Edo State, this has been in use since 2007, if I got you correctly. This cost of conversion, let's talk about that, and of course the economic viability of this CNG.
Sure. All right, so for the phase one of our project with Amonu, we're targeting the construction of 10 to 20 stations in each state in phase one, right? So the investment cost to deliver 5 million scoff of gas to each state, which is approximately 149,000 liters of petrol, is between $20 to $25 million, right? Using the most expensive technology to transport natural gas. So we're talking of mini LNG plant in Sokoto, delivering LNG to CNG stations in, mini LNG plants in River State, delivering LNG to CNG stations in Sokoto. That's the most expensive, right? So $20 to $25 million. For you to secure this type level of investment, you need to have sufficient number of vehicles converted to CNG to justify this investment. So the approach we're taking, we are partnering with the Labour Congress to deploy a pre-qualification loan form, right, to all the workers in Nigeria. We're working with 8 local banks being supported by AFDB. So from the responses, we've taken criteria for accessing 200. For us, we're going to be charging about 285,000 naira, and we're providing loans to vehicle owners, to mass transit operators, to some state governments, to finance the conversion of their vehicles, to finance the conversion of mobile vehicles, right? We're giving them 3 to 5 years to pay it off, right? So by creating a large pool of converted CNG vehicles that would justify investment required along each segment of the CNG value chain to deliver this gas. So both has to happen concurrently. That is the approach we're taking.
Now, Brian, safety first. Let's quickly wrap this up. We're pressed for time. Now, safety first. I understand that CNG is highly inflammable, yeah? And then you can also use it with petrol. Speak to us about how we can manage this situation safely.
So like your earlier, the person you interviewed before me mentioned, CNG is actually safer than LPG. Your regular cooking gas is safer than petrol in the sense that it's lighter than air and is stored under such high pressure in very thick steel cylinders that if the gas leaks, it quickly dissipates into the atmosphere. So for natural gas to combust, you need to have a natural gas to air ratio of 5 to 15% before it can catch fire, right? So since natural gas is lighter than air, it doesn't hang around waiting for that ratio for a spark to ignite. So inherently, natural gas is safer than petrol, LPG, and diesel in the case of an accident or if there is a leak. And to support this, to buttress this, yes, right. There hasn't been any incident, any explosive incident since CNG has been used beginning in 2007.
All right, very quickly, right. I mean, for a tropical region like ours, how safe is compressed natural gas?
Well, Egypt is hotter than Nigeria, and they are aggressively pushing CNG as a substitute to subsidized petrol. India, in some parts of India, is hotter than Nigeria. India is aggressively pushing to move their CNG stations from 3,000 to 10,000 by 2029. So we're safe with natural gas.
Brian Amonu, Gas Analytics and Solutions. I'm tempted to look for a service station and quickly convert my car to CNG. Thank you so much for joining us. I believe we're going to be having you again pleasure. On Newsnight to speak more on this to us.